You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast, the last of the year. So if you guys could give me a Christmas present, maybe a New Year's gift, hit that subscribe button. Comment, like, share, leave us a review. Whether you're on iTunes, YouTube, wherever you're at, wherever you're listening or watching, we appreciate it. So show us some love back. If you want to take the conversation beyond the episode today, go to Facebook, type in Roofing Success, and join the Roofing Success Facebook group. Today, we're going to do a recap of our year and the episodes that we've had through the year. You know, we put out 52 episodes this year. So we're really proud of that. And we had such great conversations with everyone. We are not able to go through every single one and recap every single one. But we had the team come together and put together kind of the top 10 that they thought really made an impact or would make an impact on your business. So to start us out, we're going to start out with an episode from Garen Armstrong. And really the conversation is about how your team can step up in ways that you can't imagine. So check out the clip. We'll be back to discuss it.
I love leading from the trenches. You know, I know the back office is so super important in what they do and dealing with the insurance audits, dealing with everything that happens on a regular basis. That's so important. But equally as important is that the tip of the spear, your project managers, and knowing that I got their back and knowing that I'm there to help them. I mean, even though we're doing 2,000 roofs a year, you got to focus on one roof at a time, one homeowner at a time. And really just get it back to basics, because it's awesome. I've been nominated for Contractor Growth of the Year from two different organizations, Roofing Contractor Magazine and Storm Ventures Group. So I've doubled year over year for the last 4 years since that happened. And I got to give credit to the team, because while I was in the hospital, they've locked arms in unity and was able to move forward.
I really like what Garen says there about leading from the trenches, and from his experience leading from the trenches, he really created an environment in his company where people wanted to follow him. And then when he came down with an illness, they were there. They picked up the pieces, but they picked up the pieces in part because he is that type of leader, and would put that work in himself. So in putting that work in himself is where you really show your team and build that culture that leads to that type of level of camaraderie and corporate culture that will carry on far beyond what you're just putting in on a day-to-day. So now I want to, moving on to another one about, with an episode with Jonathan DeRoche, and talking about how caring about people more than making money leads to greater success. So check out this clip.
I think you actually have to love people. I think you have to genuinely care about your people, and they have to be important to you and your goals. I look at the guys that I look up to, and Eric Hunter doesn't know who I am, but he and I are friends on Facebook, and Steve Soule and all these guys. I look at the kind of culture that they built, and they celebrate people. They celebrate accomplishments. You want to get up and work at that company. You want to be part of that team. You know, there are people from all over the nation who want to go work with those guys, like literally elites. And I kind of looked at that, and, you know, we're a much, much smaller version of that. I think the main point is that money is a byproduct of success, not your main goal.
So that was Jonathan DeRoche talking about, you know, kind of a common theme, the same theme as Garen was talking about team, right? And building that company culture. But with Jonathan's point is it's hard to build that company culture when you're focused on the money. And so if you're focused on the money, it's going to be difficult for you to really create that environment that leads to that type of team. Your team will worry about the money just like you are. So now let's move on to what an episode with Nathan Thibodeau of Contractor Coach Pro about why you need the right advice at the right stage of your business. So during your roofing business, there are many stages that you'll go through, from a startup phase, maybe to a scaling phase, to a stability phase, to a significance phase, right? And through that process, you need different types of advice. So let's check out this clip from Nathan Thibodeau.
Self, right, has kind of gone over my head a little bit. But when people say you need to understand your definition of success, that's really critical. Because if you don't, then you're always going to measure your success against somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be able to accomplish somebody else's dream. So you have to have your own. I mean, if you don't have your own dream, then that's that comparison thing. And social media makes it so easy to play that game.
So easy.
People are flying around the country, and people are up on stage speaking, and people are on the cover of magazines. And if that's your dream, okay, then you need to understand that and chase that. But if you can't identify that as being your dream, then all you're going to do is compare yourself to somebody else rather than comparing yourself to where you want to be.
Yeah. I really enjoy that advice from Nathan about really your dream, chasing your dream, not someone else's. You know, here at the Roofing Success Podcast, I've had, you know, contractors that do $3 million a year, up to contractors that do probably $50 million a year, $50 million a year, right? So everyone has a different dream. Your dream does not have to be someone else's. I know a contractor that got, you know, kind of pushing that $4 million mark and hiring salespeople and trying to grow it out of that. And then they decided, you know what? It's not the direction I want to go. That's not the life I want to lead. I don't want to be the manager of a bunch of salespeople. I can go out and sell, you know, $3 million myself, have a good team to support the production side of things, and now I have a better life, right? My business, I can optimize my profit at that level versus, you know, optimizing my volume, right? And shooting for those high levels of volume. I know other contractors, man, they're shooting for it, right? They want to be the largest roofing contractor in the country, bar none, hands down, and that's what they're trying to achieve. It's different, right? That's a different thing. So, you know, understand and start to know yourself. We're going to switch directions from building teams and kind of knowing yourself now. We had Chuck Doki on the podcast, and he shared some great sales strategy and sales advice. Check out this clip from Chuck.
When we get out there as salespeople, we hear, oh, you know what? I really don't have time for this. I mean, the person that came to my door was so nice. I just couldn't tell them, no, we don't really need the service. And you're like, I just drove, 45 minutes out here. this just took up a spot on my calendar. I mean, all this is going through your head right now. You know, but so we as salespeople need to understand how to sell our way in the door.
Yeah.
So with Canvas leads, and it's one of the only ones that I really need the sales rep to know where this came from, is on Canvas. And so that way, when I get the, hey, you know, I don't have time for this, or I wasn't expecting you, because the wife is the one that answered the door and booked the call. And then it's the husband that's answering the door for you. Now it's like, I didn't know anything about this. So we need to understand how to sell our way in the door.
That episode was with Chuck was awesome. He really broke down how to deal with different lead sources just in so much detail. It was amazing. He even breaks down how to close Home Advisor leads. So if you're interested, check out the episode with Chuck Thoke. He's the man. And what I really like about that is he really understands that you just take a different sales approach in certain situations. The other thing that I know and we deal with on a regular basis is, you know, there are a lot of different places, a lot of different sales to be made during this process, right? So the first sale that gets made is when someone reaches out to you to set a home visit, right? To set that inspection. So they pick up the phone, they're calling you to see if you can solve their problem. And at that time, when you're on the phone with them, you need to sell the home visit, right? Sell the home visit, sell your inspection, going out and taking a look at to give them an estimate, whatever it is. But that's a selling point. Now, you know, what Chuck was talking about is, you know, this person, you're showing up at an appointment, you have to sell your way through the door sometimes, right? It's people, well, we're just not interested. My wife, she made that appointment, you know, we're all good. We're all good. You have to make the sale at the kitchen table. Sometimes you have to make the sale online with your reputation as they're looking you up, right? And showing that you're a credible company. There's so many sales that get made during the sales process. And Chuck breaks these things down like just in one of the best ways I've ever heard. And so now we're going to move on, right? Now you've sold through the door, you've gotten that inspection, you've done the inspection of the roof. Here's a clip from my friend John Seanick.
I call it the CAR approach: compatibility, availability, and repairability. And there could always be factors in the claim outside of those, but when it comes to the decision of really focusing on, should I repair this or should I replace this? Can I actually go through the repair process, or should this be moved towards replacement? Those are three factors that are relevant every single time you're evaluating repair versus replace. Are there other factors? Sure. Are there other things you could potentially leverage? Yes. But those three will exist every single time. Is there a compatible product available on the market? Is there a product available, or is it gone, discontinued? And how do we evaluate the system for overall repairability? And now we're ready to say, yes, we can repair this, or no, we need to leverage this towards full replacement using that, you said it, the do the right thing, but it's do the right thing both ways for the homeowner and presenting to the insurance company. We don't want to present something unethical or that we shouldn't, or that misrepresents the actual consideration.
What I really like about John's approach is that he puts a framework together for the claims process. So, you know, we talked about Chuck, and, you know, we got to get through the door. Then if you're working an insurance claim, you got to get that roof bought, right? But you want to make sure that you're getting the homeowner what they deserve. You're not asking for what shouldn't be. So having a formula like the CAR method will allow you to do the right thing for those homeowners over and over and over again. And what happens there is that trust begins to build, right? John Sinek in a past episode talked about his referral business. So this was the second episode that John and I have done together. And in the first episode, he talked about how he develops referrals. So he door knocks for 4 or 5 months out of the year, and then he builds his referral pipeline to close out the entire year. This is done through building trust, right? And doing a good job. And he does a good job because he has the framework. He knows exactly how to get the homeowners what they deserve, provide a good experience for them, and that leads to trust. And so here's a little clip from Jordan Cox about trust.
Once you've established that trust with somebody, some people don't realize this, but that trust, you can transfer that. Like when you have built and you have that trust buy-in with a homeowner, when they call their neighbor, you're not starting from the bottom. All right, prove yourself. No, you're starting with that trust that other homeowner has. And now I don't have to redo it. So when I going into a new neighborhood, it is all about establishing your trust, respecting their community, and doing what you say you're going to do. If you do those things for one person really well, it'll multiply, because that trust will move from person to person as you're communicating with them.
Trust is such an important part of the buying process, right? We buy from who we know, we like, but most importantly, who we trust. And so that's, just great advice from Jordan. If you are not establishing trust and doing the things in your business to create referral relationships down the road, right? If you are not doing a good job, right? If you're not communicating properly with the homeowner, if you're not doing all of the little things that create raving fans, we call them, you're not going to be able to transfer that trust like Jordan is saying. And it's in that transfer of trust. It's in that turning one job into many where I find the most successful contractors excel at, right? Turning one job into many. It reduces your customer acquisition cost. You don't have to chase leads all the time. So in doing that, that's really a key component to having a successful roofing company. You have to be able to turn one job into many, and that is done through establishing trust. Here's another example of one of our guests talking about building trust. Check out this clip from Martin Pettigrew.
I think the branding is super important. So when they see our guys knocking on the door with our logo, they can identify. I've seen that before, like Apple. We've seen Apple product. I don't care if they do a car or a phone, whatever they want to do. I'm probably going to trust that they are going to be a good product, right? Yep. So that's what we're trying to do with a lot of our marketing, a lot of branding, have an emotion to it. But some of the things that we do in marketing to create leads that are referrals is like a BNI group. All the salesmen are in BNI groups. So that helps because it's always referrals. So anything, Chamber of Commerce, Home Builder Association are great too, but BNI, their target's really to help finding opportunities for others through trusted people.
Great advice from Martin. What he starts off with there is talking about the trust in his brand, right? So now you're building those trusts with those homeowners, but in your community, in the area that you service, you can build a brand that people trust before you even get to the kitchen table. Right? So building that brand is extremely important in building trust. Now, they're taking a unique approach to leveraging that trust through local groups like BNI groups. These are things that you can do, or your salespeople can do, that make a huge impact in your business. We always think, oh man, what's the next shiny object that I could get leads from, right? What Facebook ads can I run? What this can I do? Let me hire a telemarketing company. Let me do this. Let me do that. there's so many different ways that we look for ways to build our business, but sometimes it's that old school relationship, building trust with people in your market. And that's what I love about about Martin and what he's done with his brand and with these unique approaches in his market. I mean, the markets that he is in are very low population centers. And I think they did about $40 million in roofing last year in 2021. They'll hit like $40 million. They were Contractor of the Year at the Roofing Process Conference. These guys do an amazing job, and it's because they've built that trust. But really, where it comes from, and you can hear on other parts of the episode, is that Martin was always trying to improve. He is always trying to get better. And I look forward to interviewing him in the coming year about his new book that he just released. I think that's going to be an amazing episode. But it's all about trying to get better a little by little, right? Little by little, just small variations, small things that you do over time make an amazing impact. So here's a clip from my friend Deshaun Bryant about what he is seeing in the industry and how he's seeing people want to get better.
I would say the biggest shift I've saw in the industry is guys want to get better. Like people want to improve at a very high level now versus 5 years in the roofing industry. It was like sink or swim. It's like now guys are like, hey, I want to make sure all my guys can swim. So I want to pay for a swimming instructor to come out here and teach everybody how to swim. We getting away from the sink or swim method. And so I think the growth in the industry is improving. All of the owners are getting better. Sales managers are getting better. And the company as a whole is just really starting to turn from what I'm seeing into like personal development. It's getting away from just like door knockers, go out there and sling contracts, but to like, how do we help people improve as individuals?
Being in the roofing industry now is like personal development. That's crazy, right? This is more than a job. It can be more than a career. It can be more than just a business that you own. What he's talking about is having a significant impact on people's lives beyond just a job. And he's seeing that in the roofing industry. And I think that's amazing. And I see so many great owners out there that are really doing so much for their teams, for their communities. It's really inspiring to talk to some of these people that are really doing this at a high level. And one of those people is Charles Antis of Antis Roofing in Orange County. Check out this clip.
And that's what we've done at Antis Roofing from that very day 32 years ago when we donated that roof, and it's changed our course. Today, it's much more organized. We donate all the local Habitat roofs. In 2 weeks, we're going to meet Habitat build site, and we're going to drive our 500,000th nail and our 137,000th tile in the 12-year partnership where we've donated for the last 85 families, over 1.2 million in roofing. And of these 85 families that we've donated the roofing for, along with Eagle Tile, 76% of them are going on to further their education beyond high school. I mean, that is a phenomenal statistic. 3 times that of where they came from, given the crowded conditions that many families live in before they can find full housing. So we get to participate in stuff like this. And what that story does to my team, they know that they're changing the world one roof at a time.
That's so inspiring, right? Deshaun talking about how roofing is becoming more like personal development. Charles is essentially changing the world one roof at a time. His company, really big goals, really big thoughts coming out of the roofing industry these days. It's not just about money. It's about much much more than that. And so I know it's hard, depending on, what we were talking about with Nathan Thibodeau on his episode is, you're in different phases of your business, right? You could be in a different phase of your business. You may just be starting out. But these stories of how people are doing these amazing, amazing things should impact you in a way that you want to implement that in your business. And you can do that on a small level and starting small. And another episode with the owners of True North Construction, we talked about that. Like, you could start doing small things in your community that really, really have a great impact. And all of these things, all of this impact, and it's speaking to what Martin Pettigrew mentioned about building brand and building that trust. All of these things that you're doing builds upon that trust, which helps through the sales cycle that Chuck Doki is talking about, and helping with the framework that John Sinek has in developing that trust. And so as these things go along, that really leads to your brand. Your actions on a daily basis lead to your brand. Check out this clip from Ryan Kettering.
If you have a brand that looks like, for instance, you see a guy rolling down the street with a little magnet that's falling off the door, he's making some inherent, unspoken promises about some things. Like, you can ask me for a discount. I might not show up early or on time or at all. Certain things like this, right? And you see this beautiful truck rolling down the street, and they have signs in every yard about all the roofs they're doing, and everything's on point. Like, you're making some promises there, right? Everybody uses us. And a lot of the guys are already doing this sort of thing, right? But everybody uses us. We'll be there on time. We're the preferred vendor and so you're making these sort of unspoken promises just based off of how you're presenting yourself, But yeah, so that promise is going to be how we're then tying ourselves to the market and making some explicit and unspoken promises to the market.
That was one of my favorite episodes of the year. It speaks volumes, right? If you think about that, you are always, in every way, expressing your brand. And you are telling people things about your brand without you being conscious of it. So kind of circling back to what we started with today is, we were talking about team as a common thing, right? As a common theme. Building and taking care of your team, nurturing your team, helping to creating an environment that your team can thrive in, having dreams that are yours, not someone else's. It's an important thing. And once you understand your dreams, now you can take that and build upon it. Build your sales processes. Understand the nuances of where your customer service lies within that process. Building trust with your brand, building trust on a day-to-day basis with the people you serve in your community, taking that to heights that most people don't even think about. What Charles Antis is doing over there in really committing to become almost a philanthropic organization in his community. Getting your team and building, through all of that leads to personal development. And then when that all comes together and all wraps around, the way that your brand will be portrayed from every individual in your company, every value that you express, everything that you do in your community, every relationship you create with a homeowner or at a BNI group like Martin Pettigrew mentioned, all of these things will express the highest level of your brand that you can achieve. It's been a really great year. A lot of great guests on, and I wish I could spend the time to go through each and every episode. But if you want to see more of these clips, go and check out our social media at Roofer Marketers on most social media platforms. Just search for Roofer Marketers. You'll find us. We just started a Roofing Success Instagram account, so go ahead and go there and connect with us. Follow us there. I have become, I have the honor and privilege of being a member mentor in Adam Bensman's Pitch Pro movement. Check out the link in the description to learn more about how you can have ongoing, coaching and mentorship to better and build your business to the level that it deserves to be built to. Thank you all for tuning in. It's really inspiring to me watching the amount of people who listen to our podcast, looking at the numbers, looking at the subscribers, and looking at the reviews, and looking at how this continues to build momentum. Look forward to some amazing episodes coming into 2022 and through the year in 2022. We have a lineup. I'm so excited about this lineup that we've already put in place. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.